and welcome back to the Brighter podcast. My name is Chelsea.
My name's BatSheva.
And my life is infinitely brighter thanks to BatSheva.
And my life is so much brighter thanks to Chelsea.
We love to come on here and share stories, tools, techniques, our own life experiences in hopes that it will make your day brighter and help you along your own unique path. And today we have a special treat for you. But before we get started, let's arrive in the space as we like to do by taking a few deep breaths together. So if you're in a space where you're able and it's safe to close down your eyes, we invite you to do that with us. And go ahead and let all the air out. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhale. Another deep breath in through the nose. Exhale. One more deepest breath. And exhale. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we have a special treat for you. Not that every time isn't special, but today especially special as we are going to be getting to know us better. And today, BatSheva is going to be asking me, Chelsea, a bunch of questions, and you'll get to dive deeper into my own life. So,
asking the question, who is Chelsea Goodtime? And who knows that her last name is Goodtime, because we don't usually use our last names over here, but that's just the first of many secrets that we will be uncovering and unpacking during this awesome, cool episode, diving into who Chelsea is. Also, I want to let you all listeners know that we are on YouTube, the Brighter podcast. So if you actually want to see Chelsea's beautiful face alongside my beautiful face, find us on YouTube. Some people have given me the feedback that they really love to watch us more than listen even. So there is that option, FYI. All right, Chelsea, ready? We diving in?
Yeah. And for those of you that have been watching, you get to see a new backdrop for me today. We're testing out a new space. And I'm excited and also very cozy and comfortable in here. So yay.
Yay. Yes, this is Chelsea in her sanctuary at home. And that's a good jumping off point for my very first question. I just want a short answer because this is Chelsea Goodtime in her sanctuary doing her Brighter podcast. I'm curious, what do you think that childhood Chelsea would think of this version of adult Chelsea?
I actually think that she would love it. She, through all of the practices and everything that I have been on, this journey that I've been on, it's really been a lot about reclaiming and reigniting that relationship with my younger selves, with all of them. And this sanctuary and this space that I'm in is literally like my own playroom, like an adult playroom, and it's cozy and there's soft furry rugs and there's colorful candles, and even the light fixture in here, it has like 5 different light bulbs and they're all different colors, and everything is just me. And yeah, she would be really happy and really proud to be able to hang out and spend this time and to have this whole dedicated room, which has been completely transformed. At one point, it was a guest room, and then it was an office, and then it was kind of both for a little while. And slowly but surely, my husband's office got moved to the garage, and it's now my space to do all my meditation and yoga and practices. And yeah.
He relinquished the space. That's a good partner and husband, people. And I think it's really instructive for all of us, like hearing how you've reclaimed like the heart of the home for yourself and your practices. So beautiful. So before we continue to dive in, I also wanted to go ahead and read Chelsea's bio, which can be found on our website, which is brighterandbrighter.life, FYI. It's a beautiful website, so we invite you to check it out. And you can also always stream audio episodes from there as well. So here's who Chelsea is now, according to her bio. Chelsea is a sex goddess. Just pause there for dramatic effect, who specializes in breathwork, sound therapy, plant medicine, yoga, Reiki, coaching clients one-on-one, leading moon rituals, and hosting kick-ass empowering retreats. To top it off, she has over 15 years of experience as a critical care RN nurse in the Muggle world. And you can find her on her website. In addition to brighterandbrighter.life, Chelsea has her own business, and her website is soulscription.life, where you can buy cacao that she curates for her clients, find out about all her moon circle rituals and coaching offerings, sound bowl offerings, all of it. So that's who Chelsea is now. But before we expand upon that, my girl, I'm curious. Let's say 5 or 10 years ago, you can choose, before this life that you have now. What did life feel like for you before you entered into the tipping point, the pivotal moments that pivoted you and turned you toward this life that you're living in your sanctuary, leading others on the same path? What did your life look and feel like?
I would say that it really felt like a constant striving, like a constant searching, a constant fixing. There was a lot of fixing that I felt was necessary and needed, and just that I longed for. Like, how do I fix myself and all the things that I don't like about myself in order to become the best version of myself? And not that I'm not still striving to become better and better version every day, but there's definitely been a shift. And so I would also say maybe 10 years ago, it was just go, 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 do, do, do. Like, how much more can I be doing? How much more can I handle? How many more trips can I plan? How many more hours can I pick up at work? How much more money can I make? How many more retreats can I go to?
Were you with Hunter, your current husband, 10 years ago?
I was. Yeah, we've been together. We started dating in 2012, and then we got married in 2024, and kind of along the way, we had a little set break, we like to call it, since we love music. And most of the concerts and jam bands that we love to see have like a 3-hour long show, and in the middle of that is what they call a set break. And so we had a little set break, and just kind of like an opportunity for us to really feel into whether or not having and sharing a life together was continued on, was in our best interest, in our desires. There was a lot of opportunities for growth and discomfort, which my husband, I would say, is very non-confrontational. And yeah, we both kind of have a people-pleasing past tendency that we have worked through. So really stepping back, and I would even say more so for him, of, is this something that makes it that I really want to put work into? Because all relationships are work to some extent. I mean, and it's really been for us. And a big part of it was us bringing together our family. And by our family, I mean like my parents, his parents, him with my parents, me with his parents, and really sorting that out, because we are a little bit older. And so both families were kind of used to just having our undivided attention and time. And that took some transitioning and some getting used to. And yeah, communication. And whenever we first met and started dating, we were two different people. And so growing together and all the changing and shifting, and it really offered us a lot.
And I know that you and Hunter really are from very different worlds, although you have so much in common. From the beginning, you loved these music festivals and had a lot of the same kind of desires, and what lights you up was similar. But what was the difference in the worlds that you come from? Like, tell us a little bit more about your background and versus his.
Well, I think probably one of the biggest things is that I am the firstborn of three girls, and he is the baby in his family and has one older brother. And it's so fascinating to me to see how you can almost, I don't know, and maybe I'm biased, but I feel like whenever I meet families, I can pick out who is what birthing order if I meet, multiple siblings, or even sometimes even just their tendencies and what their relationship is with their family. And I think about my youngest sister and her relationship with my parents versus my relationship with my parents. And yeah, that's just like, that's a huge part of it, I think. And also, he is his father's only child, even though his brother, basically, his family is so close that it's almost like he has two sets of parents. He has his
So it's a half
parents, and then,
brother. Yeah.
yeah, same mom, different dads, but grew up in the same household. And so also, him and his dad have this special bond, and they share a lot of time together. And Hunter had never lived away from home. So even whenever he went to college, he was still in the same town and was at his parents' house a lot. And as soon as I was old enough to leave my small town
The
of
hell out of Dodge.
yeah, of Sedalia, Missouri, I went like 12 and a half hours away to play soccer in Nebraska. And that really, it's interesting to think about it now because I can remember the conversations with my mom and her kind of feeling that that we grew apart. And I think that part of it was the location, like us being so far away. And, we started off like talking on the phone a lot. And then slowly, I was a freshman in college and there was so many exciting things to do. And I was in charge of my own life. Not that I didn't have freedom, because I definitely had a lot of freedom growing up, but it was a different kind. And so, yeah, like my intertwining relationship with my parents definitely had some distance between it physically and metaphorically,
Yeah.
I guess. And he
Start to
hadn't really,
differentiate.
and he hadn't really experienced that until he actually came with me. I was doing travel nursing, and this was in 2014. Yeah, we left January of 2014. And this was his first time ever moving away. And so, yeah, whenever we had the car loaded up and said goodbye, I'd already done this many times because I had moved away my freshman year of college and my sophomore year of college and my junior year of college. I would come home for the summer and then I would leave again. And so I had done this many, many times. And I'd even gotten to where I wasn't even spending summers at home anymore. I was just living on my own full time. And so, but this was his
I really
first
wish
time.
my kids would listen to you and take an example from you.
You say that. It's interesting for you to say that. And because I think of your youngest, sweet David, and I'm like, whenever he's the one, we'll see. We'll see what the feelings are like.
He's not allowed to go. Yeah. Just get the older ones out.
No, exactly. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm ready to not be a parent. I don't know because I'm not a parent, but I could imagine, you know. And also there's a big age difference between me and my younger sisters. Like I'm 7 years, almost to the day, older than my youngest sister and 5.5 years older than my middle sister.
Oh, so they're close in age, but you're not as close. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
got it.
our whole family dynamic is really interesting. And we have the same parents. We
And your
grew
parents
up
were
in
young
the same
when they
house.
had you, right?
Yeah,
your
my
parents
dad
were young?
was. Yeah, my dad was 19. My mom was 21.
Oh,
I was
they
the
were
flower girl at their
babies.
wedding.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I want a
it's
picture
so
of that.
crazy.
Can we put
Yeah, it's actually really funny to look at the pictures because me and my older cousin, he was the ring bearer. His name's Lucas. And you can tell the beginning of the photos, we're smiling and cooperating. And then by the end of the day, both of us are just straight face, don't want our picture taken. We have like had enough. And so it's really funny to kind of look back on and reminisce on.
So to our listeners, I'm going to try and get those photos and get them up on the YouTube so people can see you.
Yay.
We'll see if we can
in
make
my
it happen
pink dress. I loved
Aw.
it. Yeah. So
your parents were children raising children, let's be honest. I mean, that's what happens. Yeah.
They were. They grew up really fast. And yeah, I think of there was this one country song. My parents love country music, and it was all about like packing up the baby girl and like sending her on her way. Or I think the name of the song is something like "There Goes My Life," and it talks about like whenever it's a man singing it, and whenever he finds out that they're pregnant, it's like, oh, there goes my life. Like, you know, now I'm going to be a dad, basically, da da da. And then as it progresses, and he's like changing the oil in the car, and you know, making sure all the shoes and everything are packed up as she drives away to college. And it was literally what I envision as kind of my dad like going through, but he is also pretty independent. I think that he was kind of like, whew, one girl less to take care of for a little while. I mean, she's still there. I still have to take care of her, but maybe not necessarily on the everyday lines. Because wow. Yeah, having, you know, my mom and then 3 girls and pets and running his own business, multiple businesses, being an entrepreneur, which I never really realized how much goes into that until doing this on my own. But wow, a lot.
Wow. And he works, what does your dad work on again?
He's basically like a jack of all trades. So he has, since I was younger, he grew up working with my grandpa and his brothers doing construction, a lot of roofing. And then he had a snowplow business for a while that we would help like shovel snow, like the sidewalks. And he had his plow trucks, and him and my uncle would plow the parking lots of restaurants and businesses. And it was like, whenever the snow days would come, me and my cousin would get excited, like, oh, we're going to make a lot of money, you know. But it was like long, hard work. And he also just knows how to put cars together. Oh my gosh, I was so mortified growing up because he had built this one truck. We called it the Calico truck. And it
I already know what that means.
It essentially was like 10 trucks that he had pieced together, which now I look at and I'm like, gosh, that is incredible. Like for someone to actually be able to take apart all these different trucks and put them together in one truck. But in my middle school days, you know,
No, that's not the car you want to arrive to school in.
Right. People are showing up in like fancy cars, and I'm just like, drop me off at the street. And now I feel like a brat. Like, wow.
The truck.
Yeah. And I'm just like so proud of him. Like, wow, he really fucking was incredible. And for him to be able to do all these things on his own, like, and also my grandfather, his dad died whenever he was 16. So he really like grew up quick, I want to say. I mean, there's 7 other siblings. So he had lots of parents because he was the second to youngest. So I also sometimes get to think about, wow, what would that feel like having all these older siblings kind of boss you around and tell you what to do? And yeah, it's interesting.
Were you the first to go to college in your family, or that wasn't?
Yeah,
or you have others?
First to go to college in my family. And that was also an experience figuring out what a FAFSA was and how to apply for Pell Grants and get soccer scholarships and do all of those kinds of things. And both of my parents were like, I mean, my dad filling out paperwork.
Useless.
He's like, he's not filling out anything. My mom is doing all the paperwork, even all the contracts, like for his construction jobs. I can remember her sitting at the kitchen table, like handwriting the contracts out. And it was just, it's like so cool and really heartwarming to kind of think back to those times and like really all the energy and effort and everything that they have built. It's pretty fascinating and incredible.
Well, one of the things that connected me and Chelsea, like at the end of the 10-day silent meditation retreat where we met years ago, was we decided to do like cleanup crew together. The last day, they kind of give you assignments you can choose. And Chelsea's like, let's go do the laundry. We get the golf cart. And I'm thinking, I don't know how to drive a golf cart. And she's like, no, I'm thinking about your snowplow experience. I'm like, you got it young. Like she was just so take charge. And
yeah, I think it was picking up the trash. And you were like, okay, we'll pick
Yeah.
up
Oh,
the
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. The
trash.
trash. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, even worse than laundry. That's right. That's right. It was
Yeah.
the
I was like, yeah,
trash.
we get to drive the golf cart around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it
So
was. But it
fun.
was so much fun. Yeah, you introduced me to it. So, like, that's it. It's like when a kid is introduced to hard work and labor by their parents, usually, which, mine didn't so much because of where I was, my own environment. But it's amazing. I see actually my ex-husband did good with my kids. He did help them really more than so many kids these days who get zero support and life experience. They don't know how to do anything and they're just mollycoddled, to use that old-timey word.
So Hunter and his dad own a lot of rental properties. And on East Campus, which is here in Columbia, Missouri, where the University of Missouri is, they have some houses over there. And typically they have been occupied by sorority girls. By multiple sorority girls will live in this house. And I mean, they'll be like, the lights aren't working. And it's
Right.
literally
Like
like
change a light
change a
bulb.
light
Yeah.
bulb. Like
Yeah.
no lights in their house, like not even the lamps.
Yeah.
But they just don't know. And so it's really, yeah, I am very grateful for all of the education and upbringing that I received that I feel like has really helped me to be successful and independent, which kind of tying into my relationship, that was kind of a big thing for me too, of like committing to someone, being a very like strong, independent woman that didn't really want to need anybody or ask anyone permission and it's not even so much asking permission, it's just like taking someone else into consideration whenever making decisions. So it's really
Oh, yeah,
fascinating.
that. Oh, yeah, that aspect of having a relationship.
Yeah.
Taking their thoughts into
Yeah, like,
consideration.
oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to actually, I might do something. Oh, instead of just, if I'm going to do something any other time, it's just like, oh, book the trip, plan the tickets, like buy them, do it. There's no discussion that happens. And so that's been a growing point for me.
I wanted to ask another question, but I feel like I need a commercial break. And the commercial is the astrology of Chelsea Goodtime. What are your sun, moon, rising, and anything else you want to share with our listeners?
So I am a Scorpio sun. I was born October 27th, which I have always felt very in alignment with the Scorpio sun, especially like I would say my high school version, which is probably whenever I first started dipping my toes into astrology, reading in the Cosmo magazine or in the newspaper, like what my astrology was. That was my go-to places. And then my rising sign is Gemini, which now knowing more of what the signs mean and the different placements, I definitely relate to that and can see that in myself a lot. And it's also very interesting because for a long time, a lot of my serious relationships before Hunter, they were Geminis. And it was very interesting because they did not work out, but that's who I was attracted to. And then my moon is a Sagittarius, which also now I completely resonate with and really feel that part of me.
That's funny that you said that about the Geminis because you just made me realize my rising is Aries, and I also chose several Aries earlier on. That's fascinating. Okay, so can you tell us, let's say, 1, 2, or 3 of the most pivotal experiences, or they just could have been epiphanies that you had that were the turning point, like the seed level, which shifted and pivoted you from the Chelsea who was the nurse, the travel nurse, the go, the not stopping, the pushing herself to get all the things and do all the things and be all the things and was really, really hard on yourself and not sharing with your partner, to this lovely, beautiful, expansive being who I know now. What were the 1, 2, or 3 like kind of pivotal experiences or moments that led to this shift?
Absolutely. I would say that the first one was my introduction to yoga. And that started in 2012. I was on a travel assignment. This was actually during this travel assignment was when Hunter and I actually connected as far as like dating. We had met in 2007 through mutual friends and kind of were in the same circle, but we didn't really spend any time talking to each other besides like, hey, what's up or something. 2 of my best girlfriends worked at the same bar and restaurant that he worked at. So we had met before, but in 2012, I was living in Austin by myself, solo. I had moved in with this guy who I didn't really know. I mean, I knew him like through a friend, and he basically was not there like hardly at all. But we had this awesome apartment downtown Austin, which in 2012, it was a lot smaller than what it is now. It was so incredible. And we had like a rooftop pool. And my dear friend who I had actually met in Colombia, she came to Mizzou. Her name's Marina Thomas. She might be married now, but anyways, she was this lovely little free spirit, and she invited me one day to go to yoga with her, to a hot yoga class, a Bikram yoga class. And I was like, I'd played college soccer. I'm like, sure, whatever. Yeah, I'll go. Show up in my soccer shorts and cotton t-shirt, not knowing what this yoga was. And literally, you could have wrung my t-shirt out with all the sweat afterwards. And I felt, wow, I just did this hour-long practice and I didn't have to run at all. And I feel like I got such an incredible workout. And it was like just the dipping of my toes into mindfulness and really connecting to my body on a deeper level, which then led me to more yoga, deeper connection, diving into meditation, getting my breath and my body in alignment with each other, working with them. So I would definitely say that yoga was the first one. And then whenever I went to yoga teacher training, which was really just to deepen my own practice, that was kind of like a catapult. But I would say in between those two things was COVID. And it really played a pivotal role in the fact that I had kind of been teetering back and forth of wanting to try a new career. And I had actually tried a new career. I'd moved to Key West, Florida in 2016, and I had worked on multiple boats. I had been a snorkel instructor, a eco tour instructor, like a stand-up paddleboard eco tour instructor through the mangroves, lifeguard essentially, also kind of like server, entertainer, but basically I got to spend people's fun vacation time with them in the ocean, which was incredible and also really hard work and long hours. It was like as long as a nursing shift, except out in the hot sun on the water, saving people's lives in a different way. People that didn't know how to swim, who were sold these snorkeling experiences. Yeah. So that little bit, and then COVID really, because during COVID, really it just became clear of how different the moral alignment was between myself and the healthcare system. And it was tough, and it was also such a gift. And with that, I did make a lot of money during COVID, full disclosure. And that opportunity really allowed me to see that money wasn't everything, that I could make so much money. Like up until that point, coming from, I wouldn't say that we were poor by any means, but middle class, working hard too. I mean, my parents worked really hard. And always wanting the finer things, always wanting the more expensive things, longing for those experiences, longing for that status. And then I got there essentially kind of like on my own, or I was by myself. I didn't have anyone else to care for, or worry about, or pay for, or nothing. And then I was like, wow, there's still a big thing that's not full. And so then I was like really drawn to explore that more and to see what that could be. And then, so I would say yoga, COVID, and the third, breathwork has been so transformational for me. I am so grateful for this beautiful body, this healthy, fit, athletic body that I've been given. And there was a point where I felt like yoga wasn't accessible to everyone. Now I can see that differently. And there are so many practitioners that are not the stereotypical, what the Western society and culture views as yoga, which isn't even what yoga is. But that was in my mind for a long time. And breathwork really opened me up to, I would also say, psychedelic experiences, breathwork and psychedelic experiences. Both of them because they both can resemble each other so much. I mean, I can get to a psychedelic state in a breathwork session. And so really recognizing the internal power that we possess just with our breath was mind-blowing to me, and how we can shift our entire state. And then really kind of tying everything together that I had known, like from my nursing background and all the medical exposure that I've had, and then tying it into our bodies and our own control and our own ability to work with this life force energy that we sometimes, probably most of the time, take for granted.
I just realized, thinking about your journey and specifically how everything kind of started with the yoga that you did, the Bikram hot yoga. And I was thinking, oh, in my life too, yoga was 100% my first portal. And I thought, isn't it devastatingly sad that our culture, even to this day, that is more enlightened than it was when we were younger, we don't have children, every single public school, every single school across our beautiful nation, empowering our kids from day freaking one with yoga and meditation, like aligning boys and girls with their breath and their body and their minds and their souls all at one. It would be so simple. Nobody would have to give them any like indoctrination. And I remember doing yoga in my 20s back in the day, like probably in the 90s. And my boyfriend at the time, his best friend from Ohio, was living with us for a little bit. And his best friend's mother back in Ohio was like, don't do yoga. It's the devil's work. It's Satan. You know, there's such like a crazy fear.
So true. It is so true. And I can't say that there's not the part of me that is just like, yeah, that's the system, like wanting to keep everyone enslaved. And, you know, like, what are school systems? What do they do? Oh, they teach you to be these little obedient worker bees that just like obey like all of their laws and things. And yeah, and then there is, you know, the religious side of it and how it's all tied together. And
I mean, we parents, we need something though. We can't not have school because it's
right.
just
No,
too
exactly.
hard.
That was, yes, that was, and not having children, I haven't really needed to explore the different options for schooling. I do know, because a lot of my friends and then a lot of my clients, you know, what they express and share with me about Montessori schools and these like new nature schools that are popping up. And, you know, then there's things that pop up on my feed about schools in China and, you know, other countries that play and creativity is such a huge part of. And I'm just like, wow, like,
I want to say, I feel like Denmark or something is like, my older son and I, we used to watch these videos. Michael Moore did a documentary, and I think it was Denmark, but I could be wrong. Maybe the Netherlands, of like this whole nation that's just like has kids play outside like until they're like 10 or 11. And that's their school, structured school. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's so
and they
vital
test
for
higher.
development. Yeah.
Their test scores when they're teens are like far and beyond more consistently higher than Americans. I mean,
we
that was
both
the
just
result.
finished that book, The Body Keeps the Score. And in that book, he talks about recess and nap time and the interaction. Like, this is all the most important. And I mean, again, I don't have children that are in school, in public school, but I have heard that a lot of these things are being like cut back on, like the amount of time that they're given, or, you know, music and art and all that those are kind of being cut back on. And it's more on like focusing on like, what are these test scores? And really, it's not even like helping kids develop their critical thinking. It's just like how to take this test, how to score higher on this test, which I don't know. I mean, I do know what my personal opinion is.
Well, yeah, of course.
So,
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I'm
without
with you.
diving too deep into that.
Maybe a different episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. So I have kind of a wrap-up question, but before I get to it, is there anything that you wished that I had asked you, or that you thought you might want to share, or you might share that I didn't get to? About what makes you you. Also, we should tell people how you got your last name, because it used to be Petrie.
Yes. It technically still is, but it's the paperwork is filled out. It just has to get dropped off at the courthouse. I would say that I don't know that there's a specific question that I was, you know, coming into this and not knowing what you were going to ask was kind of exciting and like it was like the excitement and the nervousness and the surprise. I love a good surprise. So, yeah, I'm just happy. I know that you're a great journalist and writer. And so I knew that you were going to have top of the line questions and be able to develop this story and whatever little script you had made up in your mind. And yeah, I just completely trusted you. Is there anything else that I want to share? I guess part of the big thing for me is I definitely went through a time of shame and of like not wanting people to know like who I was, or really like I think shame really matches it most, because I could think back of some times that I was not my kindest self. And through this journey and process and everything that I've been going through and experiencing, it's really been more about welcoming and loving all those parts of myself and seeing that each one of them made us like they were there for a reason, you know? They showed up and they were my protectors. They were my guardians. They were my best friends, and loving each of them and realizing that that is what makes me unique. And I had one friend, I will never forget this. And Erica, if you ever hear this, you'll know. But she and I we had been friends. I mean, I like valued her friendship so deeply, and I went to her house and like she played the piano, which I've always wanted and still want to learn how to play. And
Like, what age is this? Are we talking about?
this is like middle school.
Oh, okay.
Uh, and we would have sleepovers. And then in high school, there was this boy that we were both interested in, and I feel like that I had definitely did some things that were, I was just like not proud of. So acted some ways and said some things, and then he passed, and like I don't go home to Sedalia often, and so I hadn't seen him or her in a long time, and I don't know, I just felt this urge to write her a card and kind of apologize about things. And she wrote me back, and she said in it that she like always knew that there was this like beautiful girl inside. It's like brings up a lot of emotion. Um, but it meant so much. And yeah, especially after like, I mean, I said some awful things. And so to feel that and to receive that, it was like almost like giving myself permission to love that part of me then too. And so, yeah, I would say that this whole journey has enabled me to just really become more in touch and more in tune with the different parts and the different versions of myself, and to find the love and the appreciation for every version of that has been Chelsea. And yeah, it's also interesting to think about the last name, which actually, BatSheva, you were the one who shared with me that I think that you had shared, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that there are 3 ways that, and this might be according to Kabbalah, of how people can change their destiny. And one of them is moving, and one of them is changing your name. And those are the 2 that I remember. And it's so fascinating to me because I remember as a traveling nurse, I was so excited to move to different places because it was literally like starting over, like a blank slate. No one knew anything about me, and I could be whatever version I was at that time. And it was the truth in a sense. And there wasn't any backstory unless I chose to share it. And so it's interesting to think about all the times that I moved and how that felt so refreshing. And sometimes it was even kind of like an avoidance pattern for me of like, I don't like how things are going here. I'm just going to take an assignment and move somewhere else. And now fast forward to the name change, my husband and I both were like, well, I really like my last name, Petrie, but I also felt like that was a different version than who I am now. And he was like, I'm not really tied to my last name. Like, we don't plan on having children. So we're like, what difference does it make? And also, he hates spelling it every single time. So we're like, and we had met friends before that had talked about, they had called us Mr. and Mrs. Goodtime, like as a joke. And so whenever we were talking about picking our own last name, we're like, I mean, that seems to ring. And then we just kind of went with it. And so, yeah, the good times. But it's just good time is the
That's
last name.
hilarious. The good
Yes.
times.
Yeah. Mr. and Mrs.
Let the
Good
good
Time.
times roll.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it definitely rolls off the tongue and we can all spell it for
yeah.
sure.
And
And it has a
it's
happy
like
ring to
I
it.
feel like it's like a child, like it's like a fun, playful thing because there was a part of me that was like, oh, is this a serious enough name? Will anyone take you seriously? I remember whenever we were on our honeymoon in our van and we had went into one of these provincial parks in Canada and they have you put your last name on the parking slip. And she was like, no, like you have to put your real last name. I was like, that is my real last name. And she was a little flustered. Like she did not believe me. And so it was fun. Like it was funny. And there was a moment where I questioned, like, will anyone in this health and healing world, will anyone take me serious if my last name is Goodtime? And then I'm like, those people aren't for me. Like there are,
Yeah.
like
You want
that's
people to
kind
have a good time as
right,
they work with
right.
you.
Right. And, not all of it is good times, but hopefully, like through the work, the times become better. So,
Yeah. Yeah. But I love that side of you that's playful and fun and can take a joke and, you go on your,
I guess I will say one last thing about that. You were just talking about how playful I am. And so, yeah, I would say that the playfulness and the creative and the fun side of me is a huge part of my life. And the last retreat that I co-hosted, we brought all these costumes that were from my own personal costume collection. And I love dressing up. And we go on this thing called Jam Cruise. And if you all have been listening, you've heard about this. And it's like the preparation and the play and the fun. And I've recently gotten into like doing more like glitter makeup and actually like using my body as a canvas. And so, yeah, the Good Time last name really feels fitting to me. And it brings out the child and the playfulness and the carefreeness of me that sometimes I have, I've been so serious. Like even in like all of my healing and everything that I've like done in my life, it's always sometimes gotten to very serious points. It's funny, even like some people in the training that I'm in right now, she's like, the second we start talking about energy, people are like, like energy. And she's like, you gotta like let that go. And I love that. I love that idea of yes, let it go. Like we're all playing here. It's a big game. So
totally. That was actually something. Well, there's two things I wanted to mention quickly. One is that you were talking about how all the parts of you are now more integrated and you loving them more. And that's been a huge shift. And I just want to drop the title of the book, No Bad Parts by Richard Schwartz, I think, because I believe he's the pioneer of this whole practice called IFS, Internal Family Systems, which is like revolutionary way to treat trauma, just in case any of our listeners are curious about it. It's also spiritual. It's something that Chelsea and I were introduced to by different practitioners and different books and different. So individually been working with the process of looking and interacting and talking with our parts internally for years and years. But now that I know about this book and the pioneer of that, I wanted to share that. And then also just to think about like the energy being lighthearted. Well, Chelsea's main teacher, the woman whose program Chelsea is in right now, Layla Martin, she's such a beautiful embodiment of that joyful lightheartedness, even as she goes very deep into like,
so playful
yeah.
always and laughing.
Yeah. And even
Yeah.
Michael Singer of the Untethered Soul and the books I've been so influenced by recently, the Surrender Experiment and practicing surrender. When I heard his voice, he's so playful and joyful and giggling. And he's this like 80-something-year-old man and he's a billionaire. He ran a company and like, skyrocketed from his, living room to $1 billion company. And he's just this giggling yogi. So it does help me as well. I'm like Chelsea, like I can get burdened by the heaviness of the
so serious.
Yes.
Like, okay, I'm going to do this meditation. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to be the most dedicated, and it's like, yeah, I love that part of me. And also there's so many other parts. Like, let's invite some of them in to play.
Yes, and your last name does that. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. Before we get to our very, very end of the episode where we do our bookend daily dub, I wanted to ask Chelsea to name, I'm challenging you now, and I know you can do it, Name 10 things that make your life today super, super bright.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I would say number one thing would be my husband and my dog Gypsy.
Those can be
And
two.
I'm putting
Putting them
I feel
together.
like that I should
Okay.
put them together because I can't choose which one.
Fair
Because I
enough.
love them
Fair
both
enough.
so much.
Okay.
So they are one. My immediate little family of three, like amazing. I just love waking up to them and going to. I love actually waking up to Gypsy, and I love going to sleep to Hunter. So yeah,
Yeah,
Gypsy's
Hunter,
a
you wake
little
up
more
too
my
early
speed,
for
and
her.
yeah, Gypsy's a little more my speed in the morning. So I love, but Hunter is totally my speed going to bed. Yeah. And then the second thing I would say are my dear friends, my sister circle, my sister goddesses. Number one being you, BatSheva. Like our bond and relationship is out of this world. And there are so many other sisters that there's just like too many to name, but all of you, you better be listening. No, I'm just joking. The ones that are listening, great. And the ones that haven't found it yet, like they will at some point, but they know who they are. And even if they never hear this, they still know. And I know. So community, my sister community, which I will say until yoga teacher training, that wasn't something that I always felt really connected to. So that was another huge like pivot for me and really feeling safe with women and feeling loved and accepted and like feeling that the fire and the power that comes with being so close with women. Number three would be the freedom in my life, in my like daily schedule. And yeah, freedom in my life. Number four would be my cascade of care, my self-care regimen that is ever changing and is also in a routine format. And it's just so incredible. And I feel so amazing by
Like
it.
right now, what does that consist of? The cascade of
Right
care.
now, it consists of cold plunging, qigong, yoga, meditation, and breath work.
And that's something that Chelsea does kind of every day, mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much every day. Maybe I'll take one day off a week or something, but the cold plunge, I usually take one day off a week at least, maybe two. But other things, yeah, I would say 6 days a week I do that routine and it feels so good and it makes my life so much brighter. Okay, number five would be our beautiful home. It makes my life so much brighter. It is so fun and artistic and creative, and it's so us. Like, there's just memories and good times literally plastered all over the walls and in the rugs and the carpets and the blankets. And it's just everything is us and it's unique. And I love it. And it makes my days brighter. Number six, I would say, would be all of the beautiful offerings and experiences that I get to go to, whether that be yoga classes or sound baths or retreats or cruises or festivals like Jam Cruise. I would say that all of the new people that are coming into my life, I feel like that sometimes as we get older, some people that I know like aren't really into making new friends or into meeting new people. And I would say that that is not me. And I meet new friends and they become lifelong friends and deep relationships almost like not instantaneously, but if it's meant to be, it is. And you know, we can feel it. And that is just such a joy. And to know that there are still more people out there to meet and befriend and become a part of their life and to weave into mine. And so I would say that that is number seven. So number eight would be my body and this beautiful relationship that I have been developing with it. And I will say that that's because it wasn't always like that. I used to want a completely different body and I am loving I'm loving every inch of it. I'm loving all of it. And so it definitely makes my days brighter. And number nine would be music. Oh my gosh, music infuses my life with so much joy and expression and creativity and fun. And number 10 would be dressing up. I would say that that is like something that brings so much joy and brightness to my life. Like really, whether it be shopping for new clothes to wear to an event or to a wedding or, whatever I'm going to, or to go and see a friend or to go on a vacation, or whether it be actually a costume for a costume party or something like Jam Cruise. I would say that those are the 10 things that bring the most brightness to my life right now.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, I think we can all say we know you, Chelsea, better than we did before we started. And thank you for sharing of yourself and your heart and your vulnerability and your joy and your sparkle.
Yes, thank
And
you. Thanks for the great questions and holding the space so beautifully and safely for me.
of course, and I'm going to then,
And
yes, let you wrap it up.
so to wrap it up, we'll finish with our daily dubs. So my win is that I'm really bragging that even despite all of these technical issues that we've had throughout this episode, that I'm still really happy and joyful right now. So that is a huge brag because I can think that of many times before that I would just be like over it. And I don't feel that way right now. So I'm really bragging on myself for being able to hold the fun and the joy despite everything else that's going on, and which really was the intention that I set last night for the new moon, is to find the pleasure in every moment. And I feel like I am really embodying that right now. So I'm fucking bragging about that. And my wow, what I'm grateful for is I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for the opportunity to share these stories and to have such an incredible partner to do this with, because it makes it so, so fun and enjoyable. And it's something that I look forward to all the time. So I'm really grateful for that.
Me too. Thank you. Me too. Me too. I'm with you. And we are building our newsletter. And so please, if you haven't yet, subscribe on all the platforms. You can also put your email in if you want to get our once every 2-week, not overwhelming, quick update email. You can share that on our website, brighterandbrighter.life. And, if our episodes resonate with you or if make you think of a friend, please share with them. That's how we grow the Brighter Bee community. And I am wishing, because it's my turn to wish, I'm going to wish that this episode is cut together seamlessly after all the crazy ass Mercury in retrograde inspired snafus that hopefully only Chelsea and I will know about, and you guys will not even have a clue what we've been dealing with. I'm wishing that the episode is going to come out shining bright and beautiful as Chelsea herself is, as we are. May it touch your heart. And really, I want to share what is my message and my mission in my life, which is to help people feel they are not alone, to help people know that the guru is you. You are your own guru. And finally, it's never too late. So that's my wish, for that message to be widely received.
It is so, it is so, it is so, yes. All right. Thank you all so much. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being open to hearing and sharing, and for spreading this brightness and being the light in your own lives, in your own communities, in your own circle. Love you so much.
Bye.